Hello folks, Reginald Scott here and welcome to the video. Now today I've got a problem that I'm going to try and solve cheaply. So what I have here is a pair of my pedals. I have a lot of Look pedals, but this one is a Look KEO blade, ceramic titanium. And the only thing I don't like about this pedal is the ceramic part. Basically it has ceramic bearings in it and those ceramic bearings are pretty rubbish, and very soon after getting the pedal they started to wobble and make a little bit of noise. So what I wanted to do was open up this pedal and try and solve the problem, do some maintenance and fix that play that was in the bearings. But unfortunately I couldn't get into the pedal because Look, in their infinite wisdom, decided to make this generation of pedals particularly difficult to get into. The previous generation, you could just get into them through here. You just removed the plug, stuck an Allen key in it, stuck another Allen key in the other side of the axle, and you could spin the thing off. This one has a special collar on it, which is keyed, a keyed plastic collar. And unless you can get that plastic collar off, you can't maintain the pedal. Now, you could, in theory, just stick some kind of clamp around this, like a pair of pliers or something, and twist it off. But you're very likely to do significant damage to the plastic collar, and that wouldn't be very efficacious for it. And, if you slip, you could permanently damage it and basically render it useless. And also, it's not something you can repeatedly do over a long period of time, over and over again. So they actually make a tool to open this keyway here. Unfortunately, that tool is really difficult to get hold of, especially where I live in the middle of nowhere. And in order to get that tool, it would cost me a significant amount of money. I'll stick the tool on the screen and the price, not including delivery to the middle of Southeast Asia, which usually is quite significant. So I thought, look, let's make my own tool to open this on the cheap. And what I noticed was that this 17mm socket for my socket set actually fits over the axle and matches up quite nicely with those teeth. So I thought, all I need is another socket that I can mark up, and then I can use a grinder to grind away the excess until I have a set of, 5 teeth that I then can stick in there and use this to unscrew this plastic cap. So I didn't want to use this one because this one is a nice one from my Halford set of sockets. So I went to the local store and I bought this one, slightly bigger, unfortunately. It's still a 17mm, but it's slightly longer because it's for a different socket size. This one's a quarter, I think this one's a half inch. But it is a 17mm, and this one cost me $5.10, which is significantly cheaper than buying that tool and having it shipped to Brunei. Now, the first issue with this one was that the aperture here is actually slightly narrower because this one uses a different point system for the nut. So when I popped it over here, it didn't quite go all the way down. And what I've been doing is I've been grinding away at it with this drill and some grinding bits just to widen the hole a little bit so I can get it lined up. And it's almost there. As you can see, there's a little bit of rocking going on. It's not perfect yet, so I just need to remove a bit more of this material inside here in order to get that to go on. Then I can mark up the teeth with a pen, indelible marker, and then basically freehand cut out the gaps between the teeth. I'm going to leave a little bit of excess material there so I can hand file it by hand very gently over time, and then I can sand the teeth and make them nice and smooth so that they don't bite too hard into the plastic. And hopefully, with any luck, I can produce a tool that works and opens this. I have done this operation before with other bike tools, so with any luck, I can make it work. And if I can make it work, then it's something you can replicate at home. So let's get on with first continuing to widen this hole here. If I had a miller or a drill bit that was this size, I could just use that, but unfortunately I don't, so It's a bit of a bodge job, just grinding out the hole in the center, making it a little bit wider. So it fits nicely, so we're going to do that first. Right, on to that. So I've done some significant grinding on the socket, and now it fits quite comfortably. If you have got a drill bit big enough to bore this out, that would be a better option, because by grinding it, it gives you a bit of an angular surface, and so it brings play into the tool, which is not brilliant, to be honest with you. So if you have a way of machining these things or drilling them out, that would be a better option. I do not have a pedestal drill, and I do not have a lathe or a miller, so I can't do that at the moment. So I'm doing this all by freehand, which is not ideal, but we'll see how it goes. I've marked up roughly the points I want for the tool. I'm going to cut them much wider than I need. I'm going to cut the gaps a lot smaller, so that then I can hand file the teeth more accurately to fit the tool. So there we go. Let's get on to grinding this thing. I'm just going to cut some slits basically along here and take out some of these chunks. Okay, so I've got the general shape now with the grinder, and I can see from the pedal that each one of these teeth or gaps is about 3 millimeters. So, give or take, there we go, bang on 3 mil. So I've just got to make these little notches now, the same size. At the moment they're a little bit big, as you can see they're over 4 mil, but that's good because it gives me plenty of space in which to cut them down. And I'm going to do that with hand files, some needle files, and just take my time over it and try and get it as clean and as exact as possible by hand. Oh, and one of the ways I intend to do that is by doing one tooth at a time. So I'm going to pick a gap on here, I'm going to match it with a tooth, and I'm going to file away the tooth until it fits perfectly into that slot. Then I'm going to move on to the next one and do the same, one at a time, so that when I eventually place the thing over the top and try and match it all up, I have very little cleaning to do, and it should work properly. If I try and file them all at the same time, there's a possibility I might go off center and then the thing won't match up properly. So I've gone around and I've cleaned all of this off with the file, and I've made sure that each one of these teeth is 3 millimeters wide, and I'd say it's a pretty good fit. I marked them with green every time I completed it. Obviously, it's not 100% perfect, but let me just undo the vise a second. I think one of the teeth is slightly too narrow, but the rest of them are about spot on, as you can see. Really good fit. It's all done freehand, so as I say, it's not 100% accurate, but I think for our purposes today, it's good enough. Let's try and use the tool now and see if it works. I'm going to stick it in the vise and just turn the pedal and see what happens. There you go. Success. So with some fairly simple tools, hand tools, and a drill, you can make one of these as well. I don't pretend to be particularly skilled at this kind of craftsmanship, but it was even possible for me to do. So there you go. Saved myself a considerable amount of money. What is it? $5.10 for this thing. No shipping. I got it the same day that I wanted it, and the other one would have cost me goodness knows how much. I'll stick it in the frame of this video, how much I saved. But there you go, folks. That's about it. Now I can service these pedals, which is excellent because they really do need it. They are a bit wobbly. Maybe I'll save that for another video. Thank you for watching, folks. And if you have any questions, do stick it in the comments below. I think I'm going to tidy this up now with some of the needle files just to make it a little bit less sharp, to make it a more professional job. And as always, folks, when you're out riding, do stay safe. See you in the next video.